Hi there, I'm Tiffany Songvilay. We are reporting from the Microsoft M365 Community Conference. I'm here at the news desk today with Jay. Hi, Jay. You want to introduce yourself?
Sure
Tell
thing.
everybody where you work, what you love about your job.
Oh, there's a lot about that. I would take the whole interview if I did, but my name is Jay Leask. I am the modern work architect in the Microsoft Innovation Hub in Washington, D.C. It's a mouthful.
Yeah.
And I love my job because I'm similar to what you would imagine an evangelist to be, which was the perfect role for a former MVP. But I actually send customers out with action items, and the whole goal is for them to be able to take what I talk about and begin to work on it right away. Whereas my traditional view of an evangelist is, hoorah, yay, this is awesome, bye-bye. And so being able to have that that action plan, the partnership plan with Microsoft account team and all the support we have, that's one of my favorite parts of the job.
And your main focus is government?
Yes, so in Washington, D.C., somewhere between 60 and 80% of our customers are either federal or state and local, or the defense industrial base, the contractors that support all of them.
So you've had a couple of roundtable sessions.
Yeah.
You want to just kind of give me some information on how those went?
We had a roundtable on Tuesday regarding data hygiene, everybody's favorite conversation. How do we keep our data secure? Mm-hmm. And on Wednesday, we had a conversation with Microsoft customers in the GCC High about how to prepare your environment for CMMC compliance and how to use Microsoft to help do that.
What's CMC?
CMMC is the DoD's standard for compliance with government defense data. And that's a terrible explanation for it, but it's as good as I can get.
Well, let's see. So, but what makes the needs of GCC High so unique?
Yeah, so one of the primary things is ITAR data, or export control data. That is often technical data on tanks and on defense manufacturing. It's often not classified data that would go in a totally different environment, but it is data that needs to be highly protected. And so there are very strict controls around how you monitor it, how you protect it, how you keep it safe within your environment, and frankly, who's allowed to see it.
So I do know that a lot of times GCC High is the last to get all the things. So what are you looking forward to this year that's going to go live?
We don't have an exact date at the moment, but we are in expectation that Microsoft 365 Copilot should roll out into those environments over the next, I'm going to say 12 months. I'm cautious about that sort of thing, unless it's public on a website.
Yeah.
But that idea that generative AI is going to roll its way into not just, it's rolled into the government cloud this year, but into the government high cloud over the next 6 to 12 months, as well as the DoD cloud, is huge. They're often 1 to 3 years behind, and they don't always get all the same features that we get in the commercial world. And so there's a lot of interest in how can we use generative AI generically in our day-to-day work, but also in specific mission-critical functions.
So in the Innovation Hub, are you already starting to ideate around that future?
Yeah.
What are some of the things that are coming out that that have maybe surprised you a little bit, or that you're just really excited that they came up with it?
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, the one that doesn't surprise me is every defense contractor wants a proposal creator. That's the basis of how they make money, and they want to be able to do it quicker and faster. And I'll tell you, I worked in this space myself a little bit, and one of the things that really blew my mind was when co-authoring came out in like Word. And it completely changed the proposal process.
Yeah.
So we went from what would take 3 weeks of 20 emails with attachments and literally having a book boss pulling that all together to everyone working out of one document. And instead of 3-day turnarounds between rounds, it was instant.
Yeah.
And so that same idea is being put into the thought process of how can we improve proposals today with Gen AI? Where can I create a library of content that is proposals that have won?
Yeah.
And how can I take the RFP from the government, pull that all together, and get a 60% draft completed almost instantly?
I love that so much. Yeah. So you have another session today.
Yes.
Tell me about that.
I'm doing a session with a GBB out of Canada today on Copilot, Microsoft 365 Copilot, but also some of the extensibility options you have with Copilot Studio, with Azure AI Foundry. So we're going to just kind of give an introduction of which part of that would you use for what reason. And Sadath, my co-speaker, he is in the manufacturing space, so we're going to use manufacturing as our background since I'm over all of the spaces.
So what kind of, I don't know, misunderstandings or myths do you have to kind of bust on a daily basis?
Every single let's talk about Copilot engagement I have, the very first question I ask is, what does that mean to you? Because if you come into my office and we're going to do 8 hours on Copilot, my expectation is we're going to be talking about the Office apps and we're going to be talking about baseline productivity and search. But 9 times out of 10, we're really meaning, let's talk about Copilot Studio and how I create my own agents with specific mission focus. So I have a slide that I bring up in every one of those conversations that says, this is Copilot, and all of the meanings for it. And by the way, my favorite branding at Microsoft, Copilot is my Copilot. If I'm on a road trip, I ask them to help change the air conditioning or change the radio or dip my French fry in ketchup so I don't have to take my eyes off the road. Copilot does all that for me, right? But it's not going to drive the car for me, not yet. And so we have that discussion. What is Copilot? What is the brand at Microsoft? And what are we going to talk about today versus all the other possibilities?
So I know in the commercial space, one of our big messages is, this is going to give you a competitive advantage, but in government, what is that story? Like, what kind of advantage is government getting?
Have you ever heard the phrase, let's do more with less?
Oh my gosh, is that on the bingo card?
Right? The government is going through a lot of change right now in the US, you may have heard. And there's a lot of interest in understanding how do we continue to work at the pace we have to with all of the change that's going on. So there's a big discussion around efficiency of action. If I need to do something 10 times a week, how can I do it in 10 minutes instead of 5 hours? Because there are simply not as many people around with the knowledge that you have for being in role for so long. And so they're having to figure that out very quickly.
So what is one of your favorite, when people get that aha moment, that's got to be a great feeling. So what are some of those aha moments you're seeing at the Innovation Hub?
Okay, this is really cheesy, but you know how when you're typing in the Copilot interface, / and you can do a search for files to insert, that blows people's mind every single time. But at a bigger scale, it really comes down to the ability to create things much faster. So, for example, and I'm going to demo this today, for every engagement I do, I create an agenda that I have to send out to validate we're talking about the right things, and I create a debrief after my meeting. The agenda takes about half an hour. We have a 30-minute prep call with the internal team, and then a 30-minute prep call with the customer, and then I have to summarize all of that. And while I can create a very generic agenda, I want there to be description that is relevant so they can get the right people in the room. And so I now use Copilot. Actually, we created an agent to do it, where I simply tell it, this is my prep meetings, or both these are my prep meetings, and help me create an agenda. And the agent has instructions on what I want my agenda to look like. And it has connectivity to an Azure function to actually create the Word document.
Oh gosh.
And so what used to take about 30 minutes of thinking and which agenda do I use as my starting point, it now builds the whole thing. The header, the logo of the company, the attendees, the descriptions, the times, all of that in there. And then I have the ability to, in 5 minutes, review and edit rather than 30 minutes to build it. On the debrief side, I do my debrief. It used to take 3 to 5 hours. You know, you've got to think through an 8-hour meeting or a 16-hour meeting if it's 2 days. And frankly, it's not something we could do every customer.
Yeah.
And now in under an hour, sometimes in under half an hour, I have a 3 to 5 page document summarizing key points, describing actions, and not just a list, but what the meaning behind those actions would be. And it's something I do in about 30 to 60 minutes every time now.
I love that. So how long does it take you to write that prompt? I mean, that's a pretty advanced prompt, right?
It is, and I learned a lot doing it. So it took across 3 days, probably 4 or 5 hours of practice. The first prompt I wrote was around 1,500 words, lots of instruction broken into paragraphs, and I wasn't getting good results. So I asked Copilot, I want better results in this section, how do I do that? And Copilot said, well, let's take this into individual prompts and break it into, I now have 6 prompts that I use in a single chat, new chat every time. And I get much better results because the scope of what I'm asking it to do each time is much smaller.
Right.
So it's still going through the 8-hour meeting, but now in the 8-hour meeting, it's looking for what technology did we demo? Another prompt is looking for what actions were there. Another prompt is looking for whatever I'm asking it for. And by bringing that scope way down, I learned I would get a much better, useful document every time. And so, yeah, it did take time. That investment, like I said, 5 or 6 hours. And people are like, well, that's as long as it takes to create the document. And I said, sure. But I create that document 55 times a year.
Yeah.
And so.
And have you seen the quality of that document improve?
Yeah. The less scope you give Copilot, the better result you're going to get. And so, yes, I've seen that quality improve a lot. And actually, as new models of ChatGPT get put in, I'm getting even better results. I'm actually really excited to put it against our research model to see what I get there. Haven't had a chance to do it yet, but that's a reasoning model. And so it's actually designed to really analyze, not just summarize. And so I'm really excited to try that one out.
Yeah. I know you're really active in the DC community. So do you have anything coming up?
There are a number of community events that go on, and I don't run all of them, but we have a brand, M365 DC, very unique brand.
Yeah.
And through that brand, there are a number of user groups and mini conferences that go on. I think in June we have a Power Platform conference coming up. There's also in front of that Power Platform conference an MCT training that's going to happen, which is really exciting. For Build, we actually have a watching party at the Innovation Hub. We'll probably do one for Ignite again as well. So we invite community members to come in and watch it on our 40-foot by 9-foot video wall. Oh, wow. It's a good time.
The Jumbotron.
Yeah, right. And then our annual M365 DC community conference is typically in February. So we haven't scheduled that yet. I actually bumped into one of the organizers here today and he said, when do you want to talk about it? I said, not now. But if you look me up on LinkedIn or you look up M365 DC on LinkedIn, you'll find our account and we put all of our stuff out there.
I love it. I'll be looking for the call for speakers.
Awesome.
So any big takeaways from this year that are unique for any other year that you've attended?
I'm really excited about the amount of government content that's been happening. So I had 3 government roundtables. The customer success team that I work with in DC came out and met with some of their customers and had a public sector meetup. And so I'm excited to see the conferences embracing that more because the government users, whether they're GCC, GCC High, or DoD, they don't have the same information that the commercial users have. And in fact, they come to these conferences to learn what's coming up, and then it's a often 2-year wait till they get it. And so I'm excited to see their excitement about the opportunities to get together. And I look forward to doing more stuff like that at conferences coming up.
Yeah. So do you feel like the advantage of having to wait really does help you have the time to do the data hygiene though, right?
So data hygiene, not a new conversation.
Right.
We old SharePoint people have been have been talking about it for a long time. We've talked about labels, we've talked about archive. The government is finally able to get behind that because they see the need with Copilot and with generative AI in general. And so while they want the tool now, you're absolutely right. They're going to have the opportunity to do a lot of that effort before the tool arrives. And that's not something many of the commercial users were able to do. You look in the news and you see time and time again about data spills, about sensitive information being out there because they weren't prepared as an organization. And so I think the government is at least somewhat thankful, the people I've spoken to, that they have some time to take care of that.
Yeah, for sure. What's the future of metadata?
Oh, well, as Copilot hopefully learns to read it, it'll only make things better.
Yeah.
It is super important to have metadata around your data. What is it? Categorized, secured, records management. And so the more information about your information you can have, the smarter searches and data creation and people are going to be with that data.
Yeah.
So in my opinion, it's here, it's proud, it needs support and allies.
Right.
So hopefully we'll see more and more.
Do you get records managers at the Innovation Hub?
Yeah. In fact, I worked with Erica Telly, who helps run Purview for Microsoft. I worked with Erica to create a end-to-end explanation of how Microsoft technology supports records management as compared to NARA, the National Archives' guidelines. And we see them a lot, especially now because they're really concerned that as organizations implement data hygiene, they're going to remove content, and records have rules as to how long that needs to be kept. So if we're not keeping everything, which is a bad practice, don't do that. But if we're not, we have to manage our records properly.
Properly dispose of them. We don't delete, we properly dispose.
Yes. Disposal of records is a very important topic.
Indeed, indeed. Thank you so much for talking to us, Jay. I really appreciate it. I'm Tiffany Songvilay, reporting from the Microsoft 365 Community Conference. If you'd like to see more content like this, please subscribe to our Microsoft Community Learning channel.